Ratings and join us. This is 9 o'clock. This is normal. So, of course, I scheduled it for 11. I'm so used to scheduling it late. So, schedule these like a couple minutes before I go live. All right. Yeah, the cats are here. So, I'm going to be on radio tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I'll post the links on everything on Facebook. I don't have the link yet, so I'm going to be live tonight for 2.5 hours. So I'll be midnight until 2:30 in the morning. So after this, I'm going to go lay down. So Spaced Out Radio is going to be on actual terrestrial radio and on YouTube. So I'll post the YouTube link once I have it. So today is human consciousness, timeline split, energy. So I'm channeling the human consciousness, and I feel we have neighbors, we have visitors, ghosts. We're on a mission. So yeah, boxes up. I don't have it in the camera, but I have boxes here, and they just jump around it. Anyway, they have Anunnaki priest, Middle East, because of what's going on in the Middle East, and then universal code, and that's more like that's more of a universal or the universe code breaking. I just don't want to put that in the title like that. Yeah, they're having fun back there. So, that means just breaking the old timeline, so we go into a new timeline. So. And it's going to get noisy here. So yeah, Spaced Out Radio tonight at 12 o'clock Eastern time, and Pacific. I don't know what time it is Pacific, but it's going to be a long night. So after this, like I said, I'm going to go to sleep. So it's been quite a different. Change my schedule around a little bit today. Here's Avatar.com. I have private sessions here. We have the shop. I'm at. The 6th, May 6th, of course, it's May 21st. Same situation here. We have webinar. I have a webinar tomorrow night. We have a social network, the Rabbit, behind the scenes, and the dating site. So tonight we'll just go. I'm not going to have them up here when I'm doing a radio show. Oh, unless they're sleeping. Yeah, I'm doing a radio show to have them run around in the background like that. Well, it's probably the best idea. Yeah, this can get pretty. They're on a mission. So, okay, we'll do human consciousness. Timeline split. Okay. All right, blessings. Here we go. Somebody fell down. Blessings. Greetings. The human. Yes, this is human consciousness. So what the human is here to learn. Yes, obviously they're shifting the energies at this time. They're actually clearing out the vibration of those entities that don't need to be here. So even entities don't like noise, so they're stirring things up. It's another way of clearing the room. So yeah, some of you that wish to like clear ghosts and things like that, yes, just have something like that around. So human consciousness, yes, obviously it's divided, as you can see through your society. Some want to ascend, some want to go descend, others just want to find the heart space, like everybody loves each other. There's different points of view, as you can see. So there's a lot of agreements and disagreements, of course. Agreements is not like some of you is like politically, like, oh yes, is going to get a little bit hot here. It's like, you want that candidate, fine, here you go. If it's like the worst person you can freaking put in there, it's like, you're not going to learn your lessons if we have somebody good in there, so why not put in something that's horrible? So to give you a point of view of why things are the way they are. So there's different ways of perceiving it, but of course, some of your political candidates, not to go into detail of who and where, but some of them, we're going to go politics because that's the heart center of where you're going. Because politicians damage timelines, as you can see. And yes, a lot of them are puppets, but this is another way of changing timelines, ruining timelines for everyone, and so forth. So yes, you sometimes have the worst type of people in charge, and you have the better ones around it. Well, because you have the worst ones in charge, so for people to learn, it's like, are you enjoying your beating? You want to be released from this anytime soon. It's heavy lessons. Now, not everybody needs to learn those lessons, but some do. So it makes sense overall, but obviously experiencing it's no party. It's like, we might not need that person. You know, some of you might feel we don't need that person here in charge, but others obviously need it. So why is there criminals in your politics to begin with? Once again, is to show evil, but not in its full form. It's like, here's like a softened down evil, because evil truly is a military officer usually, with weapons that come into your city and do horrible things. Instead, you have a politician that does it. Obviously, there are some regions are going to take that karma on, for once again, for people to learn. So yeah, it's a little bit heavy there, but they do play a big role. And yes, it's like how humans need to learn. Humans need this type of some need it, not everybody. So you feel like this is not your timeline, this is not how you would do things. Well, the world needs it. As difficult, I mean, even if you don't obviously agree on it, on a spiritual level, on a higher level, and usually it's in the 12th dimension, normally. So some of you are connected to 12th dimensional spirit beings, but all this makes sense, even if it makes zero sense when you're experiencing it. It's not supposed to show why everything is happening. It's not supposed to show us inner workings. It's like with a car. Do you see all the nuts and bolts working there to make it go? No, you're just in the driver's seat. And your soul is pretty much in the driver's seat of your body. But of course, there's a lot of inner workings that are going on that you're aware it's going on, but obviously you're not seeing. On a higher dimension, you see everything. You see what you need to see. And obviously, some don't want to see everything. So, yeah, it's like with a car. It's like some people might see a dent in it, but you don't see it at all. Just like life. It's like, wow, you ever thought about taking a shower for a couple, every once in a while? It's like, no, I don't see any problem with that. So it's seeing things. People don't want to see it, especially in relationships. They don't always want to see the writing on the wall. They just want to see their fantasy that's been put into their minds through whatever it might be, through society, through a past life. Because that same person that, like a relationship that you're with, that's a horrible relationship, but it's good because in other lifetimes it's been good. But in this world, it's not good, but you have trouble seeing it. It happens over and over and over. And that's the lesson there. Now, is that person horrible in other realities? Not necessarily, no. But when they're being tested by a world like this, yeah, they lose themselves. Some go to a darker path, and some just don't want to see it. At least, those in the relationship. So for timeline energies that are going on at this time, yes, you're going into a time of a great spiritual growth. It might not be what you're looking for, As you can see, the UFO energies are becoming more part of society. Once again, many are not looking for that. You're looking for an actual alien group instead of propaganda. But once again, many need that propaganda for growth. Well, yeah, some societies spoon fed their knowledge, and others rather just get it over with and see the real thing. But you know, that does not mean you can't have your own alien experiences. You'd be surprised if you're ready for it. Some might say mentally they're ready for it, but on a health level, they're not necessarily ready. There's another reason why aliens aren't walking through your door at this time, just having dinner with you, and things like that. It does not mean they're not moving into that direction. There are timelines that do exist like that. Obviously, it's not entered into your realm just yet. You are warming up to it. Most likely, if an alien comes for dinner, obviously they're not going to eat your food, but the conversation matters most. Most likely it'll be a being that you would physically want to be around, not necessarily be a giant mosquito or something like that. But some would actually enjoy that, actually. But that's not going to be for everyone. So yes, you're in kind of like a timeline puzzle where nothing really makes sense. The pieces are all over the place. Yes, the idea is to trust, but also some of you are cut your connection with spirits. Why I don't always hear the spirit guides. You hear it within you, but you're actually, some of you that have trouble hearing the spirit guide don't hear anything. You'd be surprised how more in control you are with yourself than you might realize. You might not like your situation, but you do have it all, you know what you're doing. So it's just not, I mean, you get messages from your guys like, yeah, I got it. You might hear like a little twinkle of a thought, something like that. So, but majority of you are on that path. Some of you just hear them very easily because you have a conversation with old friends, things like that. But not everyone needs, because sometimes the reason why you hear spirit guides is various different reasons. A lot of it just because so you can concentrate on what you're doing here. So it does not always need to hear the chatter around. It's not for everybody. For some, it works, but not for others. So if you want to make that connection, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do a meditation, ask for the guide to talk to you, and he's like, okay, we're on the wrong page. But either way, take care of me anyway. Do what you need to do. I'm going to continue on my path anyway. Well, like when they say don't date that person or don't do that, it's like, yeah, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And there's nothing wrong with that because you're in charge, even if you don't feel that way. Well, yeah, you disagree with guys. It happens all the time. But the timeline energies, the direction you're going into, would you see a spiritual pulse energy getting stronger? Now, everyone's going to see it differently. Some need to see it on a level that they're already on, and that's a lot of words about emotions and words that might not mean sense to a lot of people. It's like, why do you have to use all these words when you just use one word? Some might just hear themselves talk. And the spiritual teachers, they just like listening to themselves. And some people it's like listening to a bird chirp. They just like the vibration they put out. They might not agree with this person's saying, they just like the energy of it. And there's a lot of that happening right now. It's like, you might hear the words like a song. You might like the rhythm of the song. Sometimes the word, like every once in a while, I pull a word out of it, but most of all, you're not really listening. And that's usually what happens in a lot of spiritual groups. Blessings. Greetings, you. We are the Anunnaki priest consciousness. I believe some of you are already aware of what's going on in the conflict. Obviously, you do not have to be absorbed by any of it. It's like neighbors that don't like each other. And obviously they're not being entirely truthful how these little conflicts are going on. Why would you? So there's a lot of cover up going on. Um, it's diversion. It's like there's nothing going on. Well, there is, but some are just it's like fireworks, unfortunately. Now, those that are causing these conflicts, yes, they're going to receive a lot of karma for what they're doing. Obviously, they don't care. Even if they ignore the karma, they're going to get it anyway. When you cause, when you're shooting off missiles and things of that sort, you're not going to exactly get, oh, don't worry about it energy. Far from it. So peace talk. Some war is peace. Why do you think the conflict is still going on? Some just rather see a rocket fly every once in a while. Yeah, psychotic energies. Anunnaki is known for that. Especially when you take an Anunnaki and split it with a Syrian being, and both of them are psychotic, and you have a lot of that here. Now there are good Syrian beings, but some of them are not. Some of them are taking time bombs, as you can see. Unfortunately, they are by heavy missiles at this time. So we just say our message really about the Middle East is just be careful who you're believing in all of this. A lot of this sabotage. I mean, peace, some is not excited, because they don't make money on peace. Peace is boring. Peace is, for some, peace is not the world they want. It's not the Eden. Some are looking for Eden, actually. Eden meaning, a paradise, which can be achieved in the Middle East. Obviously, many are there to stop that, and that is your dark Illuminati presence. Now, your Illuminati presence obviously can mentally manipulate, and you don't even know who that person is. Like they do it through energy manipulation. Some of you have already run across it quite a bit through reptilian energies and so forth. And eventually that's going to start being healed. Well, when you start recognizing the problems, such as reptilian beings and so forth, there's other beings involved with it that you're not seeing, and eventually you will see them. Meaning these alien beings are causing difficulties, meaning that the veil for hiding them will start to clear. Meaning some people might see that they saw demonic energies, like, wait a minute, that was an actual alien being that tried to cloak itself, but no longer can cloak itself as good as it used to. And the Middle East is where we see a lot of that starting to unravel in due time. I think people will get it on photographs too, which would be more insane. Now, obviously, I'm not coming, and people think they're living in a movie. So, and they'll think it's fake and this and that, but we do see reptilian beings decloaking, and not always, they're not doing it on purpose. So it shows now that's when ascension energies begin to really start to ramp up. When these beings are manipulating society, society cultures, especially in the Middle East, they no longer can hide themselves. For right now, it's necessary. For right now, it's a twisted timeline. That doesn't make any sense, but you're not at the phase of alien awareness yet. Now you're getting there with this UFO knowledge. Obviously, when they start putting on TV Palladians, Syrians, Arcturians, and have more discussions about that, would probably bring chills to many of you. Like, wow, they're actually talking about this, which they will one day. Obviously, they might be laughing. Who knows on who's going to be talking? I mean, on national broadcast television one day, and they'll start taking. It's like, who are these people tapping into this type of stuff? So we take it more seriously over time. And some of you are going to feel like, wow, they might not be tapping in like we are, but at least they're getting somewhere. So, and there might be some propaganda. There's always going to be some of that. Well, people are holding it back. They push it back. That does not mean they're not bringing it in. So expect some of that in your future. And going into a whole new phase. So when they talk about UFOs in the news, it's one level. It's, you got to go through a certain phase, and then you go through another and go through another, and you get to more of your authentic energies when this is all being taken more seriously. Obviously, many at this time, some are curious, but a lot of people are just pushing it away. But when news is bringing this up, it shows that, we're going to start to dabble this into your reality. and it's not leaving either, and it's not leaving now either. It might not be every day, but it's not going to go away. Not from what we're seeing. It might disappear for a little bit, come back. It's slowly finding its way into your culture, as you can see. So it's not might be what some of you are looking for, but this is the new age you're going into. So it's and it gives many of you a time that are awakening to all of this to advance yourselves even more. Doesn't mean you have alien. I mean, some of you have alien encounters no matter what. You're already having it, and more of those that want it those days will start to increase when the times are. So as always, if you want this alien connection, obviously be on a spiritual level, and you just feel like it's happening with you like water, meaning it's fluid. You're not trying real hard. You just feel it around you. It's like in your mind and your heart, this is what you feel like you need. It will come to you. So this is a new era that you're going into. And yeah, you might not, in timelines, they're not always going to be the clearest. Now, when all this manipulation comes to an end, then the timeline the future comes more clear. But obviously, the forest is still thick. And many people need that manipulation. To them, it's normal. Conflict in the Middle East, normal. Obviously, nobody really wants that. Some do, but most don't. I mean, some do is like a very small, like your psychotics, basically, which are a small few, but still. Well, it lowers the verse vibration, but it's like, don't forget, we exist still. We're still here. It's another reason why they do things like that. But when you go into peace, there will be an era when you go into peace, you will really feel that peace. Obviously, you get like false versions of peace, and that's going to go on for some time. Well, just that's the nature of this world. So it's different layers to it. It's as long as you're not part of the conflict, you're there for the peace. Because a world like this is going to fight back. You try to bring peace, it's going to fight back. It's going to, it doesn't want. Well, some, like I said, some don't want it. Greetings to you. I am the universe consciousness, or universal consciousness, but universe energy. So to give you eye of the universe, I am many souls in one, meaning I am like human consciousness, infinite energies of so many. So basically, the universe is kind of like the spirit world, you can say, but in a physical form of experience. So some want to have a good experience, others want to just cause chaos, of course. And you appreciate the chaos because that's why you grow and learn and become a better person. You'd be surprised. Some say they don't want chaos. Obviously, it hurts, but it really does center the soul. There's time for peace. Sometimes you can't have too much peace. Of course, you can have conflict. But you don't have to have war, but conflict, some kind of challenge. You don't have to have wars. This rips everything apart, rips the universe apart, rips souls apart. But some do need it, of course. But in this planet, this world is all the wars, all of them, all the everything. It is, yeah, and not necessarily an angry planet, but a planet that is, yeah, it opened the doors and it didn't realize when to shut it. So too many beings came here, attached themselves to it. As you can see, it made the world, the current reality as it is. It's like adding too much sauce to your soup. Too much flavoring to a soup. You add too many ingredients to it. That's what you're going through on this world. It's just too many Illuminati beings, too many warmongering beings, and so forth. So to give you an idea of why there's so many wars of your past, is to clear those beings off this planet. It's like give them their wars so they can get off this world, get out of their system, get out of here. And you're coming more to a peaceful energy. Obviously, there's still a war within the family that still has to be healed, and sometimes that is the worst, because some are going to realize their family members are actually reptilian beings. Insectoid, but a lot of them are reptilian beings. A lot of them are reptilian beings coming as mom and dad, and they're trying to keep this reality under their control. It's not always working. That's why some of you don't feel like you're connected to your family. It's like, I don't know who these people are. And man, they're just, every time I want to have fun, they're just like ruining everything. Well, some of them are reptilian beings keeping this reality going. Yeah, their mission is to keep this place shut down. So, and it's more common than you might think. Well, world's used to chaos, correct? Well, so they can be cloaked here very easily. As many of you are tapping more into your spiritual fairy Agarthian selves, and that's really where you're going in. You're breaking the spell by going into your spiritual belief system. The spell no longer works anymore. That's keeping this reality underwater, or under hypnosis, you could say. So yeah, the Agarthian tree people, basically, as many of you evolve, even nature will evolve with you, become more alive, more spiritual, more, you might see a tree walking possibly. You might see a fairy being smoking something somewhere. Yeah, your vision will start to open up when the mask comes off of society. So yeah, there's a lot of reptilian beings that incarnate as human, as some of you know. Now some of them are positive. Obviously, why so many positive reptilians incarnate? Well, some of you just have those connections. You incarnate here. I mean, when you're battling something, sometimes you need to have those. You need to have that experience to deal with this. So I wonder why so many have incarnation with reptilian energies. Is because, as a fairy being, you're only so powerful. You incarnate with reptilians to strengthen yourself. It's like it's all about preparing. All your incarnations about opening this world back up. So yeah, you have other incarnations constantly going for you to learn about how to open this world up. So another version of you is figuring something out, what you need to understand here. And that's a little bit confusing, but you have multiple versions of yourself still going on. It's all about, it's not all about unlocking this planet. It's all about unlocking other realities also. Because there are other prison realities that many of you are involved with, are going into your awakening state. As those worlds awaken, yours is like next in the queue, you can say. Now, what line of the queue it's in is another story. So this is why when some beings, let's say it's all about the universe, well, it is all about other worlds unlocking themselves. Because other worlds are built to keep your world shut down. It's a little bit, it's not revealing itself so much yet. It's, but some of you could probably feel that. We'll just put the energy out there. Eventually more revealed, like when the human consciousness wants to know, the knowledge will come to you. Obviously, there are beings here that incarnate to shut people down, keep them lost and confused under a hypnosis, which is in the spiritual communities, as some of you have realized. And now, do they feel like they're doing anything wrong? Not usually, no. A lot of them are here to shut people down. Usually, the villains don't feel like they're doing anything villainous. Even when you see what they're doing, it's pretty dark. Especially if they're channeling lower dimensional beings, demonic beings, things like that. Well, without going into full details of that. So, yeah, your world is on a stage, a spiritual stage of, it's been kind of like in a holding pattern to a certain degree. So a lot of these spiritual people, teachers that incarnate, had the chance to open up reality more. A lot of them chose not to. A lot of them chose to have the good life, the easy life. They're scared to worry people. I mean, they can go to a certain limit, but they can only go so far. So that's why some of you incarnate now we just want to know what the hell is going on here. We just want the manipulation to release. And that's why many of you are here at this time. And you feel that. You're not part of the normal spiritual development. You're for just to lift the veil completely. So it's lonely, but it's worth it. It's not. It's a mental war, as you can see. So you're bringing new light codes to the earth, and yes, it's changing things. As you actually, when you, if you have an intention to awaken humanity, you're like a light code from the very beginning. Like you're always doing, even if your life is not easy, it's horrible a lot of times because beings are trying to kill you, basically. And some of you have been through that, but you are releasing a lot of, it's all about, because the other beings know what you're here to do. You're not be able to see it, but you're just here to change things, improve things, be the rebel, to break all the rules for the earth to awaken to the next phase. The next phase is basically not to be under any kind of control. It's like the world has been through it, it's done it, it's now's the time to release from it. So